what you want. You are what you're not. You got what you want. You are what you got. People with grip and chain, don't they?
Now then, Vinyl Monkey here again. I was down in London again at the weekend, and you might wonder why I go down so much, seems I'm always slagging bloody Londoners off on this channel, but yeah, that's it's our capital, love it or loathe it, and it's where a lot of things happen. And I was down for the Adelante conference, which is basically a big meeting of people who want to show solidarity with the left-leaning movements of Latin America, particularly Cuba, Venezuela, etc. And I think I mentioned I went to Cuba last year, and on a sort of I suppose you'd call it an educational sort of tour, meeting with unions and workers and residents groups and politicians, etc. But and I'm a member of the Cuba Solidarity Campaign, and for anyone who's half aware of the news at the moment, you might be aware that last week Trump issued a new, even harsher executive order, so-called executive order against Cuba, which is basically severely punishing anyone who'll sell oil to Cuba. So he's basically trying to starve an island of several million people. He's trying to stop their industry, close their hospitals, with the obvious hope that the people rise up and they achieve some sort of regime change, and he can go back, and the Floridian gangsters who left Cuba in 1959 can go back, and Trump can make a personal fortune as well, building new hotels and casinos and the like. But anyway, I'm not going to rant on about that. All I'm going to say is it was an inspiring conference. Jeremy Corbyn spoke very, very well as usual. Fidel Castro's grandson, also called Fidel Antonio Castro, was absolutely inspirational. He spoke, he led workshop discussions, etc. I had an opportunity to meet and chat with him. Absolutely inspirational. But anyway, that's why I was down in London. But the day before the conference I had a few hours, so I went to a new record shop. Oh, I meant to show you me tote bag so I could show you what the name of the record shop. It's called Flashback. It's in Islington, and it's about 10 minutes walk up from the Angel tube station, straight along the road. Really nice record shop, really well organised. It's got vinyl and used together, new and used vinyl together, but really nicely organised. And yeah, it was a pleasure to be there. And I bought half a dozen records, so I was just going to run through them. The pricing was very, very reasonable. I mean, London is expensive for everything, isn't it? I was paying £6 on a pint, but that doesn't seem to translate to second-hand records, thankfully. Certainly not in this shop, where only one of these records was over a tenner, and most of them, half of them, were less than half of a tenner. So yeah, great stuff. I'm going to go through the six. That first one, the brilliant Stephen Malkmus, ex of Pavement, obviously, with his band The Jicks. I've got two of his other albums, and this sort of adds to that set. This is Wig Out at Jagbags, and a really fun album, upbeat album. You can hear sort of Pavement-esque, sort of quirky melodies and things in there, but it is more poppy, and not a bad thing for that. It's really, really nicely done. Over the moon with that one. That was the one that did cost over a tenner. Stephen Malkmus and the Jicks, Wig Out at Jagbags. Second one, I was just attracted to this one by the cover. This is Joe Jackson, who I think I've said on this channel before. I do wonder sometimes why Joe Jackson didn't really hit the big time. you know, like his contemporaries at the time, Elvis Costello and others maybe did, because he certainly always seemed a great songwriter and performer. And this is Body and Soul, and I was attracted to it because it's done in the style of one of those classic Blue Note jazz albums from the late 50s, early 60s, you know, with those colours on the front, the moody sort of picture. Jackson plays saxophone, but they've got the musicians listed along there, and then they've got a little essay which covers a sort of introduction to each of the tracks. Really nice. I love that type of cover where you get a bit of information, but it's sort of arty as well. This is a fantastic album. I'll give it one quick listen to. What an incredible sound. Apparently recorded in some sort of... It was recorded in New York. He was based in New York here. It was about 1984, I think. And they recorded it in a church type building for the acoustics to create a sort of big sound, and it's huge. The sound on this is absolutely huge, particularly on a few of the tracks. The first track, The Verdict, I think they just hung a couple of microphones in the church hall and then played sort of live, but really, really nice. Very some great songs on here. I think one of them was a hit in America, You Can't Get What You Want Till You Know What You Want. Yeah, very true. Yeah, I think I got a number 15 in America. Really funky, very, very nice. Joe Jackson, Body and Soul, 1984. The next one I got, this is a double album. This is, I'm going to pick out the... that one as well. This is Alejandro Escovedo with Don Antonio, and there's Escovedo on with that one. Don Antonio's an Italian, I think an Italian rock guitarist, I think, but double album called The Crossing, which is about 18 tracks or so, which are dealing with, I suppose, emigration, people who are crossing borders, crossing waters, particularly to get to America. And Escovedo himself, his family, I think, crossed the Mexican-Texas border, and it's stories of that crossing. Don Antonio, I think, had some relations that came over from Italy, so that's the sort of theme running through the stories, but it's beautifully done, typically wonderful stories by Escovedo. But it's got like a really eclectic list of guests on here. Incredibly, Peter Perrett, of the only ones, sings on one of the tracks. Wayne Kramer from the MC5 plays guitar on one. James Williamson from the Stooges plays guitar. Joe Eli does the spoken word. Willie Vlaughton, you know Willie Vlaughton from Richmond Fontaine, great author, read a few of his books, absolutely fantastic. He's written some of the parts on this album. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Double album, absolutely fantastic. I only played the first two sides, but yeah, less than a tenner. One thing I'd say about this record shop is the each one I picked up, it was saying condition VG or VG plus. Well, they were wrong. They're nearly all mint or near mint. Absolutely fantastic condition. Next one up, I love this guy. This is Will Oldham, or Bonnie Prince Billy. And this is Will Oldham's, I don't know, he's had 30 odd or maybe 40 albums under various guises. And I've got quite a few of them. He's done a few collaborations, and I've not seen this one before. I suppose this is I think it's more of an EP actually. It's 4 tracks, so it's a sort of 12-inch EP. Brilliant costumes there, Will and Ryan. Ryan is a drummer who's produced this album. He's a drummer with the record company Drag City, who've put this out. Great picture on the back of the two of them leg wrestling. But this is fantastic. Oldham is absolutely on fire with his singing. and there's a lyric sheet of it. And one of the interesting things about this album is all of the lyrics are sort of nonsense lyrics. They make no sense whatsoever. I'll give you just a random example. He got a legging and he said it wasn't I. If I saw, I guess you'd dig. It's a labour, will it buy? Boldly, 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 bolly by. He was a kneeful, was a kneeful, was an I. Sadie, 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 bolly by. Ease for the beds, basted, ada, deedle I, etc., etc. There's words that, you know, he's just made up and don't exist. But the good thing about this is it just creates a I suppose it backs up what some people often say. It's the lyrics don't matter. It's the feel. It's the feel. It's the feel of these words alongside the very rich production. It's produced, as I say, by Ryan Murphy, but it's arranged by Jim O'Rourke, the brilliant Chicago musician. David Grubbs appears on here as well. Fantastic stuff. Over the moon with that one. Will Oldham and Ryan Murphy. The next one, this is Green on Red, No Free Lunch. No Free Lunch, the title track, is a sort of commentary on the record business really, and the sort of tactics of the record companies in dealing with their artists. But this is really good stuff. Green on Red is what's his first name? Stewart. Is it? It's not Dave Stewart. Hang on. Dan Stewart and Chuck Prophet. Well, I love Chuck Prophet. Seen him a few times. Got a few of his albums. And at this stage of his career, early on, he was a guitarist. Dan Stewart was doing most of the vocals. He went on to share the vocals later on, and then obviously went solo. But he plays some brilliant guitar on this album, particularly on the Ballad of Guy Fawkes, where he really lets rip. And the title track, as I say, real good stuff. No Free Lunch, Green on Red, lovely album, lovely sounding album as well, very nice. And then the last one of the six. This is a band I'd never heard of, and I was only attracted by their name really. The photo I wasn't so keen on, but the name, the Milk Monitors. And this is Revenge from the late 80s. And I tried to look up something about them. I couldn't find out much information, but if it's the same band, and it may well not be, they were inspired, if inspired is the right word, by for their name by Thatcher's abolition of free school milk. So for those of you old enough, there used to be in every class there'd be milk monitors, the people who were sent out to the privilege of going to collect the little crates of small bottles of milk that were free for everyone at school back in those days, certainly when I was at school. In fact, I got the cane. I never liked milk. I don't like milk now. I can't stand it. And I certainly couldn't stand it at all in the summer when it was warm. But I got the cane at St Cuthbert's Primary School for refusing to drink the milk. But anyway, yeah. So the Milk Monitors, and that's a sort of punky indie sort of stuff. I've only played the first side, really lively, canny stuff. I'll have to look further up. I don't know, I have no idea whether they're still going. The sort of band I'd like to see live. And that's me 6 records. 6 records were less, I think they were about 40 quid for the 6. Real good value. Flashback Records in Islington, in London. And yeah, if you want to avoid the wankers in London, yeah, go to a record shop. That's the best place to go. But we're going to go out anyway. This is a short video. I got a nice message today from an old school friend who I hadn't seen until recently for 50 plus years, since I was 15, I suppose. And but recently sort of got in touch with a few others, and he and his brother, his name's Brendan Gill, and his brother I think is Danny, and they go under the name the Brothers Gill. They've had a couple of albums. I think they're only what's it called, online or in the internet or whatever. In other words, they're not on vinyl or CD or anything. I don't think so anyway, but I'm sure those of you who were adept at this can find these. Definitely worth looking out. But he sent me a new single off their latest album called Stand Up, and it just caught me at the moment. I mentioned I was at this conference in London and trying to stand up and show solidarity with people who were trying to improve the life of their citizens in the face of terrible hostility from the United States of America, who were inflicting violence. I think they bombed 8 countries this year. They're killing, obviously, their own residents on the streets of Minneapolis. And this, I don't know whether this song was it. I have no idea whether this song was inspired by those events in Minneapolis, but it certainly rang about that, about the need to stand up for your neighbour in these troubling times. So I thought it would be nice to go out with that. That's the Brothers Gill, Stand Up. And this is it. So I'll see you soon.
You gotta stand up. You gotta stand up. You see your neighbor standing there with fear in her eyes. You got no time to contemplate. You got no place to hide. You gotta stand up. You gotta stand up. Show your love.
Love, not hate. Take no notice of it. Show your love.
You gotta stand up. You gotta stand up. He's a Jordan, he's a Dutchman. She's a sister and a wife. He's from Chicago or Somalia. He deserves to live his life. You gotta stand up. You gotta stand up.